All right, so I'd like to welcome to this Zoom call some of the members of Luna. So the president of Luna is Danya, and she's going to give us a little briefing on what Luna is, and then we're going to have all of the members introduce themselves to the podcast. So welcome to Cavalier Corner, guys. Danya, do you want to introduce yourself and Luna a little bit?
Yes. Hi. So my name is Dania Romero Arellano. I am on my last semester at Johnson County. I think 2.5 years. So yeah, last semester, and I am the president of Luna. And Luna stands for Latinos United Now and Always. We're the Latinx/Hispanic club on campus. And we promote not only education, but culture and just diversity and inclusion, especially in the Latinx area of the world. We like to have our little niche at JCC.
Nice. Thank you so much. Who would like to introduce themselves next?
Hi, I'm Lucy Jimenez, and I'm the vice president of Luna. And this is my first semester here at JCCC. So, what Luna means to me is I struggled a lot during high school finding my community, but coming into college, I was able to find a group of people that really supported me no matter what, and I got to meet some really cool girls, and I love it.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Who'd like to go next?
I can go. My name's Daniela. It's my first semester at JCC, and I'm in charge of social media and communications at Luna. It was really important to me to find a Latinx club when I got to the school, because I came from a community that had a little bit more Hispanic people, more Latinx people. Like, I came from high school that had more Latinx people than at Johnson County. And it was kind of a big culture shock when everything was very different. And what I found, what's important to me is that it gives us a sense of community in a place that doesn't have people like us walking around everywhere.
That's great to hear. Last but not least, Fatima.
Yep. My name is Fatima and I'm the secretary of Luna. What Luna means to me is in high school, I didn't really have a lot of Latin friends, any of that. And just coming into college, it was a whole different experience. So when I had the opportunity to join Luna, I met more friends. I have more people to kind of talk to, and now I'm part of a Latin club that's kind of emerging me more into a culture that I did not know about when I was in high school. So it's been great. It really has been great for all of us.
That's great. Well, thanks you all so much for coming onto the podcast. I'm really excited for this conversation. So you guys came on to do you want to talk about why you came on? I'll open the floor to anyone. Why did it feel important to you guys to come on the podcast in the first place?
So I was the one that kind of brought the idea up, especially when I saw the little sticker on the little tables on campus. I felt like it was a great opportunity to not only have Luna represented in the spaces that's podcasts and any other spaces at JCC that we're not reaching, but also to kind of find people that maybe are looking for the Latinx group, that are part of the Latinx community. And so I felt like it was important to not only have that available and for students to know and people, but also to kind of make, if you don't know, to know about us and about our culture and our foods and our languages and our everything. We're here and we're at JCC, so it's kind of a nice way to just say, hey, we're here, celebrate with us.
That's really nice. And I think that's a really good thing about our community college is we're a big community. Something you all mentioned is the ability to share cultures. And one of my questions, I guess, as an outsider, is So, what kind of stuff do you do for sharing cultures? The Latinx community is like a broad community. So, what does that kind of look like? Like in a club meeting, what does that look like?
Okay, I can go. So lately, one of the big topics we've been talking about is the difference between being Latino and Hispanic, because a lot of the times on forums, like when you're even like applying to college, it'll only give us as a community to be labeled as white. And we're obviously not white, we're all Latino. So that's a conversation we've brought into like our leadership group chat. And then we're eventually going to put that into one of our club meetings because it's very confusing. I always get confused because I still don't know the difference. I never will. But that's just one of the big topics we've been struggling with lately.
So, kind
And
of, oh, yeah.
yeah, another thing that we have noticed is our club is majority Mexican, but there are a few people that aren't Mexican. We have a girl from Peru. I believe we have somebody from Colombia. So a lot of listening to other cultures because we find that a lot of Latinx culture here in Kansas City or in the United States is very centered on Mexican culture when we're trying to open up the doors to other Latinx people, other people from other countries. So lately we've been listening, oh, what's like kind of the difference in your music, your food. The other day we did a Tropicana run. We went to a local Mexican ice cream shop and the girl, the Peruvian girl tried tortas, which to us is like a classic food. It's classic. And to her, a torta is a cake. So we're just kind of teaching each other about our different smaller cultures within the larger Latinx culture.
That's really cool. Is there anyone else who would like to share on that? Go for it.
If I may, I mean, even though we do have a lot of like Mexican, everybody's Hispanic, like there's everywhere, but a lot of our members are very Hispanic. But even then, we have very different cultures, we have very different traditions. Like somebody might have something that I never heard about, or they could have their own little thing. So even though we're kind of in the same little Hispanic group, like we all kind of have all of our little things. And it's very interesting learning that and kind of seeing that side of it that maybe you just because you didn't grow up with it, you didn't know about it. So it's really interesting kind of just getting to know the whole side of what it means to be Mexican and Hispanic.
Those are some really interesting questions. And it's really inspiring to see all of this sharing of cultures. Very important, especially in our climate now, but it's also just really good to get to know ways you're similar and different from other people. So, for people who maybe outside of this group or who are curious and wanting to kind of dip their toe in, what kind of events do you guys have planned coming up?
Um, so this semester is kind of like the comeback season for Luna after COVID. We did a lot of, I mean, COVID hit all of us. And then in terms of JCC and clubs, it was just a big, downhill. So this semester we coming through with a lot of events. The ones that are coming soon, we have Los Muertos, which is November 1st. We have a Latina night empowering workshop as well in November. But like we had, like, for example, we had a Hispanic Heritage event last week. We also had like the Amigos Friends, the Amigos event. So we've been pretty busy. And coming up, we're really excited for the rest of the fall semester.
That's really exciting. How have those events been going for you? Are there any fun stories from those events that have been memorable, especially coming out of COVID, like being able to interact with people?
Yeah, so our Amigos event was 2000s theme, and most of us here were not alive then and didn't get really to experience it. So our theme was to just dress up as like just that like theme. And so it was really funny seeing all of us as a leadership team, like try and dress up in that. And obviously our advisor was trying to help us. They're like, we didn't wear that then, but we wore this. So like I kind of dressed up like Britney Spears, and like I know Fatima, she was wearing like dresses and jeans together and just a lot of like crazy layers. But that was just like one of the coolest memories together, because we've only known each other for like a couple weeks, like almost a month and a half, and we've grown so much together, and we've gotten to know each other really well. And it's just cool getting connect with other Latina girls, Latina women, and just getting to share that experience together.
That's really great. Does anyone else have any stories from the semester so far?
Wait,
Okay.
I'll say something real quick. Sorry. We are very crazy people, and yeah, I was about to say that. So we have 6 a.m. meetings, leadership meetings. We wake up at 5:30, and we are very dedicated. And you gotta do what you gotta do. And we've been having 6 a.m. meetings. The second one today. And also we went to, I know Luna went to Manhattan, Kansas a couple weeks back, and we went to the Halo conference. I didn't go personally, but I've heard it was very fun. It's a Hispanic, like, kind of like a big conference at K-State. And there's a bunch of other like Latinx Hispanic clubs around. Like, I'm pretty sure the city, like the state, that come together in a little like niche at K-State. So yeah, I think for me it would be the 6 a.m. meetings, because it just sounds really crazy, but it's the truth. So
Man, you weren't kidding when you said you were dedicated. It really has been inspiring. I will say, working with this group to like get this podcast together, I have been impressed with like how like it's clear you guys are like unified. Like it's clear you guys are all on the same page and working together and very motivated, which is very, very inspiring and like hopeful to see for me. Because it's good to see that like I mean, as a student ambassador, right, you kind of lean on clubs and organizations to keep student involvement up, right? Like I can't get all of the students involved all the time, right? And so you want to make sure that they have those places to go. And so seeing that our club members are so motivated and so like on the ball to get like outreach and to be like connecting with students and with each other is really, really inspiring. Like as a student, and it's just like a as an ambassador. So that's really, really good to see. I will have to check out some of your upcoming events for sure. So for people who are interested in coming to the club, when are your meetings, and what does a typical club meeting kind of look like?
So our club meetings are every other Monday. And we just had one last week, so we'll have another one next week. They're mainly in the comm lab from 1 to 2, and you'll see us out there. We have a little Luna sign, come right in. And like I said, anybody's welcome to join, no matter if you're part of the Latinx community or not. But just going in there, it's great. We do icebreakers. We try to get them involved as much as we possibly can with our just any events, any type of things that we might do there. But everybody's welcome to come in as they wish.
As an outsider, again, we wanted to talk a little bit about like platforming like Latinx voices. So do any of you have any like specific experiences or like things you'd want to speak on to an audience that's not necessarily, or maybe a Latinx audience, things you'd like to say that like in your experiences on campus, or anything that has really cemented your experience and kind of been unique. So anything you'd want to share on a bigger platform?
so I remember like when I began JCC August 2019, and I come from a public school where everyone looked like me and everyone was similar. It was really it was different. So when I got here on campus, I had like a culture shock. I kind of got intimidated, honestly, even though I'm like the most extroverted person that I know. I got very intimidating getting here on campus because everyone looked very different. Not necessarily a bad way, but it was something that I was not used to for 12, how many years, kindergarten to whatever. And then hitting college, first of all, I'm the first generation in my family to go to college. And then being a little brown girl with, a bunch of hair. It's like, I was really intimidated. I was like, oh my God, like, is this actually my place to be? Like, what am I doing? And that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't speak about, because it's, we just, especially in our culture, we keep a lot in. We keep pride, and it's just like, it's all in. And that can correlate a lot with mental health and stuff. And I just feel like that's something that I wish someone would have at least spoken about, maybe before I even like hit college, like senior year or something, or just like a heads up of that experience, because of course everyone's experience is different. And I know that we also have a population on campus that's DACA and undocumented. And if you guys do not know what DACA is, and I know Fatima can speak about it a little bit more, it's a program here in the United States that gives protection status to students, to children, to people who have been here from a certain like a certain date in the United States, and who get Social Security and basically get a works permit and are allowed to go to college and school and receive better scholarships. And I know, Fatima, if you want to speak about it more about DACA and stuff, and like kind of like the population here on campus at JCC.
I can. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I can definitely kind of say my experience. I am a DACA recipient. I've had it ever since it started in 2012, and I feel like a lot of people are scared about it, like to say that you're a DACA recipient. But if anything, I was scared in the beginning, but now I feel like it's very empowering to me to say, that my parents did this for me, and now I'm trying to kind of better myself. But just like I've had this experience with DACA, everybody has different experience. No matter if you're a DACA recipient, if you're just on a visa, no matter what it is, if you're undocumented or on any type of visa, we all have different experiences. But as for the DACA people, it's kind of hard, especially coming in and just kind of being part of this whole new world to you. It's, and especially coming in so young, you're taught, that I almost basically lost my Spanish because my parents were just trying to immerse me into, the American culture, English. You have to learn English. They very, very much pushed that on me. And I think it was because of that I was able, when I came into Luna, it was a lot of things that I didn't know. Like, was like, and every single time, like, we do an event, we do something, I know a little bit about it, but not enough for me to be like, I'm a professional, like I can speak to this about this. So, but being a DACA recipient, it's hard. It really is hard. You're very limited on services, on schools, on scholarships. And I feel like a lot of people don't know. You'll be surprised how many DACA students we have at the school. There's a lot of us. We just don't say it, or we just don't like to promote it, but there's definitely a lot of us out there. And if anything, it's just more about being that support, just being that ally, and be like, you are not alone, if anything. So just coming in and having all these Luna members, kind of rooting for us, for me, it's been really empowering for all of us, even if we don't want to, like, we don't admit it. It's been great.
I can speak a little bit more. So I had a very different experience than a lot of people here. I grew up in Wyandotte County from the dot, and I went to Shawnee Mission East, and it was a primarily white school. So coming to JCC, I did not have that big of a culture shock. I was like, oh, it's just like I'm back at high school, same thing, same people. But being in Luna, I got to meet people with similar experiences that I went through. So when I was in high school, my dad, he became a citizen, and I was able to meet other people here at JCCC that went through the same thing, or even like students getting their own citizenship, which is really cool to experience, like that we have something in common compared to as high school that like I went to kids that like didn't have received DACA or didn't have parents who had to go through the immigration process. And that's also like another thing that Luna is like really like that we participate in something really cool. It's called Cambio para Cambio. We basically raise money for undocumented students who are coming to JCCC, and all that scholarship money goes to them, and we get to benefit them and help them like come to college. Like they don't have to worry about having a social security number. They just know that they have that money for them set aside, and that we're helping them out. We're here for them.
Kind of building up on what Alyssa said, Luna has been almost like a support system for people that are going through these processes. Since they are not easy processes, they take a toll on you emotionally, financially. My parents went through the process of receiving a legal residence when I was 8, and it was like court after court, lawyer meetings, and then we kind of talked about it among leadership about those experiences that we've had. And when I was in high school or in elementary school, when I went through that process with my parents, it was very much like my teachers didn't understand what was happening. They didn't understand why I had to go to court every month to figure out my parents' immigration status. Like, why did this 8-year-old have to go? But like talking about it with other people that went through similar experiences, you don't feel as isolated going through those really, really hard processes at such a young age. For me, it was a young age, but for some people, they're going through it right now at 18, 19, 20.
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing all of those things. I can already, like, I've had a really good time with this conversation, and I'm sure that our listeners will also have good times. Is there anything you'd like to say? We only have about 7 minutes left on this Zoom call. In these last few minutes, is there anything you would like to say to leave with our listeners? Anything you want them to remember? Anything you want them to know going forward? Any last events you want to plug?
Okay, I can go. I just like to say that we, as Latino women, we're all breaking the barriers. We're all in higher education. And if we can do it, anybody can do it, whether you have DACA, whether you're undocumented, where you don't have a social security number. If we can do it, you can do it. So don't give up. We're all powerful Latinx. We have an amazing community. And if you're looking for a community, there's Luna at JCCC, and we're here for you.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We're all trying to speak. One thing I would like to say is that I'm a big advocate of not only my DACA and undocumented folk, but as well as mental health. And mental health is really important regardless of culture, race, color. So take care of yourselves, especially mi gente, the people in our cultures. We really think that it's not real. It's real, guys. And so Luna, we advocate for mental health and taking care of yourself and taking care of one another, knowing when you're burnt out, and taking care of yourself as a human being, because we all want to flourish and support one another.
And if I may, like, I feel like I just want to encourage people to go out there, join clubs, go to activities, go to games. You never know who you're going to meet out there. You never know who might be just around the corner, whether it be, support, whether you just want to make friends, you just want to have that college experience, just go out there and enjoy college. Some of us may be in it for a really long time. Some of us may be in it for a short time. It doesn't matter, as long as you kind of enjoy that experience, it should be fine.
And I want to add that our club is open to everybody, allies, people in the Latinx community, anybody that wants to learn more about our culture. We're actually going to have a big event coming up, the Dia de los Muertos event, which is a really big event at Johnson County. We want everyone to come out on November 1st. We're honoring past ancestors for our community, as well as as other people that want to honor their family members that have passed. You can learn a lot about this beautiful event. And we're also looking for volunteers. If you are looking to help out and be an ally, you can reach out to us via Instagram at LunaJCCC or any of our leadership team. If you know anybody personally, you can message any of us and let us know that you'd like to participate. So we really want people to come out and learn about our culture, because that's what we're here for. We're here to create a community and tell people about us.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys. This has been a really great conversation, really enlightening, and I'm really happy to have it. I'll definitely do my best to make my way out to some Luna events this semester, and I hope all our listeners do too. So I just want to, on behalf of the podcast, thanks again, guys.